How's it going, everyone? It's DJ, and welcome back to another Skyblock video. And today I'm going to be talking about auction house flipping, because I think I mentioned that maybe like once in the past video, I don't really remember. But I'm going to be talking about the top 3 things that I like to auction flip when I do it, because I don't do it super often. I am quite often find myself broke, so I don't have the money to auction flip, because I don't have any money at all, because I spend all my money on dumb stuff, like 100 million coins on a cake soul. But other than that, I figured I'd kind of share with you guys what I do auction flip when I have the money, because I have some pretty cool stuff that actually, some things is pretty common to auction flip, I do, but some other stuff is some stuff that people don't really consider when they auction flip. I think that's, I don't see many people doing it, because like a lot of common choices like armors and stuff, one of them I'll mention soon, but there's some more uncommon stuff that I'll mention soon, and I'll bring that up right away. But real quick, before I start the video, I feel like it's necessary to mention that over 95% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button, because I'm trying to get to 10,000 somewhat soon. I'm getting close. I'm at like 8,400 right now. So if you could help me get there, I'd be so grateful. Now, let's get right in the video. Alright, so I'm going to start listing, I'm basically doing this video, I'm going to list my top 3 things I like to bizarre flip. It's not going to be like specific items, more like categories of items of things, because the categories encompass quite a few things. Anyways, the first category I'd like to talk about are event items, such as, for example, items for Spooky Festival, or items for certain mayors, like Jerry, let's say. I know one thing I did is I flipped a lot of stuff for Jerry. I'll have a story about that later, but for example, with things like specific items for an event, say like Spooky Festival, where you have the Bat Person armor and the Ghoulbuster hoe, or just the Ghoulbuster weapon. It's like a hoe, but it's a weapon. I think it's supposed to be like a scythe. But those kind of things are really good for Spooky Festival, or say the Jerry Talismans from the Jerry event when he is mayor. Those things will go down in price when said event happens, such as when Jerry is in office, or when the Spooky Festival happens. Well, actually, no, not actually. It's kind of different for both of those, actually. I'll explain that in a second. Anyways, there's certain times when you want to buy these. What I'm trying to say is there's certain times when you want to buy these items, and certain times when you don't want to buy these items, because they go up and down in price. So, for example, when Jerry is in office, the Jerry Talisman price will go down, because obviously there's a lot of people opening Jerry boxes, a lot of people getting Jerry Talismans, putting them in the auction house. So they obviously go down in price, and you want to buy those at that time when he's in office, and then sell them later when he's out of office, when they go up in price, when there's less of them. It's like supply and demand. And for example, in the Spooky Festival, where it's opposite to the Jerry Festival, or the Jerry event, instead of things going down in price when the event happens, things will go up in price, because people are buying these items last second during the Spooky Festival, so they can get more stuff or just get more candy in general during the Spooky Festival. So it's kind of like just timing it right with buying these items. That's the thing with event items. It's not like you get lucky when there's certain things that are low. Well, of course that happens sometimes with all things, but you want to time it with these things. So when certain things, you want to learn like supply and demand when it comes to these items. For example, like I said, the Jerry with the Jerry event, when Jerry is in office, the prices of Jerry Talismans will inevitably go down, and when he's been out of office for a month or two, hold on to those for like a month or two, and when he's been out of office for a bit, those prices will inevitably rise, because there are much less of them. And yeah, that's basically all I've got to say about that. Moving on next is something that's very common with flipping and stuff, is just end game or later game dungeon armor sets, like any of the Wither armor sets. Something that I like to flip. This is a much less complicated explanation to it. It's just because you can get lucky, you can bid low on these things. You can bid low on, or just try and bid low at least on them, and just try to get like as low as a price as you can for them. It's really not that complicated with this one. Like, because also they're worth quite a bit, so if you do get a low price, you can flip these pieces for quite a bit. I know a common choice is Necron sets people like to flip. I've tried flipping Storm Armor before, but there's not a whole lot of them on the auction house when it comes to like bids and stuff. You can try and find a lower priced one and sell it later, but I personally don't do this one a whole lot. I know it's a pretty common thing for auction flipping, for doing that in particular, but it's not something I like to do usually. But there is at the #1 spot. I know I kind of rushed through these last two, or these first two, but the #1 spot for me is because I've got quite a bit of an explanation for this one, is cake souls. I love to flip cake souls. That's something I love to do with when it comes to that, because there's actually It's just the thing is that with cake souls with specific YouTubers, because if you don't know cake souls, go check out my video on it. It's top right hand corner. When it comes to cake souls, sometimes there is a lack in certain YouTubers' souls, and when someone wants it, they'll pay a lot for it. So, for example, one story I can think of is a few months ago, I bought a Squid Kid cake soul for about 5 million coins, right? And there's a few million auction houses sometimes, so they're a pretty low price. And I just sold it recently for a total of 20 million coins. So that was a 15 million coin flip on a single cake soul, and it was really good, because I just didn't want it anymore, so I sold it. And there was none in the auction house, so I could set it at whatever price I wanted to. So I set it at like 50 mil coins, but then someone else listed one at like 30 mil, so I listed it at 20, and then it sold, because it's just because there's so little of them in the auction house, you can sell them for whatever you want. I'm trying to flip some cake souls right now. It's not always like a reliable thing. If you find like some like less known YouTuber, might not be the best thing to flip that soul in particular, but you can always try. And if you can't flip it, you always had a cool cake soul. But that's always the risk when it comes to flipping. You always are risking having an item you don't want. So you want to set it at a price you can sell it at for the most part. But yeah, I love to flip cake souls because the prices, a lot of times if you like get a certain soul that's like at a low price, you can just like, and also there's quite a few on like the auction part, not just the bin, but like the actual bidding part of the auction. So you can just kind of bid and get them for a pretty low price, and then flip them for quite a bit of money. That's what I like to do the best when I auction flip. I just love to flip cake souls. Sorry if this video is like a little messy. I'm not super knowledgeable myself on auction flipping. This is just like my personal opinion, what I like to do when it comes to auction flipping. If you've got like any different ideas on it, or what you auction flip, then let me know down in the comments if you want to, or you can keep the secrets for yourself. I'd recommend doing that if you want to. I'm just kind of sharing what I like to do. But if you want to comment them down below, then go ahead. If you want to keep your secrets, that's all right. I know that's what a lot of people like to do when it comes to money making methods in Skyblock. Anyways, I think that's about it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.